Hello everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Long time no see, right? Today in our review we're gonna see a game called the Sker Ritual, and honestly I did not understand at all. It seems that an every opportunity the developers took that was great about the Maid of Sker, and they do not exact opposite to it. And so now, across just two games in the Sker properly, we've got a confused mess across the franchise that seems to have no creative idea behind it beyond how the developers think that they can best change the consumer money. The first Sker game, The Maid of Sker, wasn't necessarily brilliant, but it did offer a unique and narrative-driven experience. In fact, it's so narrative-driven that it was one of the best horror games that you could fight back against monsters that you'd run into. You needed to make your way around the place, solving the puzzles and avoiding the quiet ones. As you look to undo a curse. It is a regular, atmospheric, and interesting concept that it could have been easily built on a sequel and turned into something special. Sker Ritual is none of those things. I'm not that deeply into this genre, so I don't really know the origins of it, but it's a multiplayer co-op horror shooter, more in the vein of Call of Duty Zombie, or I should say Killing Floor. It barely even bothers to reference its procedure before throwing you into the largest maps, armed and ready to fend off waves after the waves of enemies. To be clear, this does play well, and the developers have done their homework for this kind of experience. You can play it solo or in cooperative, but either way you pick one of the small handful of maps and then throw into a small area with the first waves of the enemies, defeating those in quite easy, and then you'll have the short time to restock on weapons or potentially open doors to the new areas. Then you have to complete simply objectives like destroy X of this, find W of that, while also dealing with the periodic arrival of increasingly potent enemy hordes. I do like the campaign approach to these maps and the vague sense of narrative that you'll get as explore deeper into the maps and desperately dash around, trying to get the things done in the brief time that you will get for a barrier between the enemies. The range of enemies is good and challenging too, starting with the basic zombie things that slowly amble you up, try to take the swing at you or their claws and whatever they see holding before the getting progressively more challenging, with the faster, stronger, and ranged ugly besties. Enemies come at you from all the directions too, which is especially fun for quick co-op dynamics throughout, perhaps a little frustrating for the solo player. The gunplay feels excellent, well, too. What I enjoyed most though was the nice dynamics between having to use the resources that you collect from enemy waves to improve your weapons and restock on ammo, and the need to use that loot to unlock doors and make the progress. There's a fine balance between the two, and in multiplayer especially, it's a perfect calibrated to create a tone tension where you never feel comfortable and that you're racing against time before the really powerful enemies start showing up. I really like a lot of about Sker Ritual, and in other words, but I refreshed myself on what I thought about this previous game. So Sker Ritual could not be further from this. There's nothing literally atmospheric or intelligent about this game. It's a mindlessly stupid shooter designed to have laugh with your mate over. There's nothing wrong with that, but with that being the case, why should you call it Sker at all? Why undermine all the great work that you did with the original by creating a game that is so different that there is no guarantee that people that enjoy Maid of Sker will like this one's? Sker Ritual comes across the increase in cynical, in other words. They are leveraging the goodwill built from the Maid of Sker to grab some quick sales, rather than trying to build a new property around this. In doing so, they actually let themselves down. In Sker Ritual, when you are choosing the map you want to play on, the art of the represents them is a gloriously big-rated horror in design. Seeing the art converted into the levels of the American slasher fare would have been so much more entertaining than the gothic aesthetics that developers were labored with building something out of existing Sker setting. I wish some game developers would think about their work as more as the content to cut, splice, shape, and reshape as that. It's bowl of soup you can keep dipping into every time they need to a product to sell. Maid of Sker was the creative vision. It might not have set the world on the fire like Silent Hill or the Resident Evil, but the developers had every right to stand proud against their work of the art. Well, Sker Ritual would have been easier to get along with if it had its own identity. It plays well and it is genuinely entertaining. But if the developers are going to treat their work as totally transist in their effort to exploit and lead on the money train, then I'm going to cheat the game in kind. And the creative vision behind the game is so shallow and unformed that the game will be, I think, forgotten in a few years. So I say it's not that bad. I should say on the scale, it definitely has the potential, and on the scale of 10, I should say it's kinda 6. But you see, you'll play with your mates for some time, and then you'll probably leave this game. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, please. Peace.